Hello, this is Richard Wilson, and today I'm going to talk about hedge fund marketing and capital raising best practices. At a recent conference, I spoke on this topic, and one of the points I mentioned was the difference between a unique selling proposition and just what most people in the industry see as just a selling proposition, which is not unique in any way. And I didn't have much time to speak about this at the conference, so I just wanted to go into this further here and send it to some of the attendees, but also just add it in here as a premium video resource for anyone to view. So to get started with, let's go over to our mind map here. So you can see here I've drawn out some of the structure of what we're going to be talking about today. It all centers around having a unique selling proposition for your fund. This website is focused on hedge funds, but it could be a CTA fund, mutual fund, private equity fund. Very similar needs in terms of defining a unique selling proposition. So first, let's talk about what a unique selling proposition is. This is something about your firm, which can usually be described in 1 to 3 sentences, that truly makes it different from 95% of the other funds that you compete with for business. Usually it's a combination of 2 or 3 different things, but it's something that you won't see on other people's marketing materials and something that'll make you stand out in the minds of investors in an important way. There's many ways to look different, but you want to look different in a way that's important to their core needs or the challenges they face while looking at funds. So first of all, the whole reason why we're talking about this is that I get sent somewhere between 500 and 600 pieces of marketing materials for hedge funds each year, and many investors see a multiple of that. So when I see all of these marketing materials, all of them look the same after a while. They all talk about a diversified fund, a diversified portfolio, capital appreciation goals, protecting the portfolio. Not very many of them are unique, and I think that's a big problem, and I think it's something that explains why so many funds have challenges raising money, because if all of the funds look the same, then the investors are just going to trust the ones that are, have more of a brand, or the ones that are a little bit larger a lot of the time, or the ones that their consultants recommend. And the consultants probably aren't going to recommend one that looks very generic and looks like 20 others that they've seen in the past quarter. So anyways, the selling proposition is what you don't want to have. You might need to include information on being diversified or aiming for capital appreciation, but that should not be the thing that you try to promote as a thing that makes you different. You have to go and dig deep, dig further. There probably is a great reason why you started your fund. You have to find that and explain it within a professional way, within your marketing materials, in a very concise way. Usually, the unique selling proposition is made up of 3 different things, a combination of these 3 ingredients. The first is the team, a high pedigree team or very experienced team, a team that's worked at funds in the past, a team that's raised a lot of capital and managed a lot of capital in the past. Those can be part of your unique selling proposition. Process, the investment process that you use is a very close second to being the next most important thing after team. Your investment process typically needs to be very consistent, but also sophisticated. If it's very simple, then it looks like it can be easily copied, or it looks like it wasn't very well thought out. It should be very exact rules and kind of decision tree rules within your investment process. Just naturally, those should be here. This isn't something you should add just for your marketing materials. There's so many variables in most strategies that it really will pay off if you have your investment process thought out at a very granular level. Next, the third prong is usually research knowledge or some sort of insight advantage, whether it's competitive research that you collect through a service or a subscription, maybe intellectual knowledge from working in the industry for 20 years. Maybe it's insights into regulation, because someone on your team used to work for the SEC or used to work for a consulting firm that worked with compliance. And what's important to remember is that you don't have to have all 3 of these ingredients, but I hope this will help you start to brainstorm what combination of these 3 things are really going to be your unique selling proposition for your fund. I think this is one of the most important things you can do if you're looking to improve your marketing efforts, because if you go out there and market to investors and you don't have a USP, then it's going to be hard to get their attention. And the next time you call, they might not even return your voicemail. They might remember who you are and not respond to your email. So you don't want to blow your chances. You want to get this down at the beginning or as early as possible. So now let's talk about some other ideas that can help you develop a unique selling proposition. While most are made up of these three elements, or at least two of these three elements over here, team, process, or research, knowledge, and insight advantage, here are some more ideas that can help you generate a USP. Offering more liquidity than your competitors can be a competitive advantage. Offering more transparency than your competitors do. Having a very diverse, very well experienced, and hopefully somewhat well known advisory board can go a long ways. Some name recognition for people who are known as authorities in the industry can be great. If you have those types of relationships, do whatever you can to try to get them on your advisory board. Hire stars. When you guys are looking at hiring professionals, oftentimes small to medium-sized hedge funds have limited budgets. But I've heard once before that a mishire can actually cost you $1 million. And I believe, and that was a statistic for private corporations, not hedge funds. It could be much, much higher for a hedge fund. And just remember your unique selling proposition when you're hiring professionals. Team is one of the three main ways that you can build your unique selling proposition. So think about that when you put together the job descriptions, when you're interviewing professionals. Make sure there's someone who's really going to boost the pedigree of your team by hiring them. Next, you could write a column in a newspaper, write a book, or speak at conferences. These are three ways to be an authoritative figure, and if you choose the topics right for the column or the magazine correctly, or if you write a book on a valid topic or speak at the right type of conference, you can actually speak to a lot of your potential investors, and you can reach thousands of them, and they may end up contacting you instead of you having to contact them. Just like everything included within these resources, you always have to consult with your compliance advisor in-house or an outside licensed attorney before you take any of these steps, especially when it comes to speaking or writing a book or trying to get people to come towards you. There are some advertising restrictions in the industry. But with any of this, if you're making a major change in marketing materials, you should always have it looked at by your compliance department. There's 1,000 little disclosure rules and other things to consider while describing your investment process, your returns, and your team. It's always better to be safe rather than sorry. So that pretty much wraps up our talk for today. Just to recap real quick, when you develop your unique selling proposition, make sure it's unique. Don't just say you have a diversified portfolio where you try to raise the value of assets in that portfolio, because that's not unique. The three prongs typically for developing a unique selling proposition are team, process, and research, knowledge, or insight advantage. And then some more unique ideas on developing a USP are liquidity, offering more of it or more frequently, more transparency, having a strong advisory board, hiring stars, writing a column, writing a book, or speaking at conferences. So I hope these ideas help. I know that many of the funds I've consulted with and spoke to at conferences thought this was a valuable idea, and I've never really been able to talk through it for any more than just 1 or 2 minutes during a speech. So hopefully this is something valuable you can use within your business. If you have any questions or feedback, please do send them in. Thank you for your time.